Hello, and welcome to Handled-ish, Productivity for the Imperfect, a weekly podcast for those who want to elevate their productivity but are not looking for perfection. I'm your host, Betsy Hayes, and I'm so glad you're joining us from Podcast Land or on YouTube. This is episode 14, Tools for Social Media Productivity. And I'm so excited to have my first podcast guest. I'd like to introduce you to Tori Terhune. Tori is a graduate of my program at Fresno State. Well, first of all, she's my friend. Most importantly, second of all, she's a graduate of our program at Fresno State. Shout out to Media, Communications, and Journalism. And therefore, she was my student many moons ago. We might not talk about the number of moons.
So many years.
And we have co-authored books together, and she has been a social media coach since she graduated might as well say it, in 2009. And so obviously has seen a lot in the world of social media. So I thought that everyone would appreciate learning from you. And so today, we're going to talk about social media tools that can help you with your social media productivity. Are we ready?
I think we're ready. First of all, go Bulldogs.
First of all, go Dogs. Exactly. Right? And anything you want to add about the intro that I didn't mention?
I think you handled it ish. I think we should jump right in.
You know, when the intro is handled ish, that, it's going to be a great episode. All right. So great. So let's talk tools. What is one of the tools that you love to increase your social media productivity?
So there are a lot, and we talked about a lot of them as we were prepping for this call or this podcast, sorry. I think I want to get it down into like the top 3 for productivity's sake and for the brevity of this podcast episode.
Love it.
So the first one I would really recommend people try is AI tools. My favorite being ChatGPT, which I know you're now on. And what ChatGPT can be really great for is helping you come up with ideas, brainstorming topics, first drafts or outlines of blog posts or podcast episodes or YouTube videos. Anything that you kind of need to brainstorm and you kind of wish you had another person there creatively helping you, ChatGPT and other AI tools like that can be really helpful to save you a lot of time with a blank piece of paper.
Because no one wants to start with that blinking cursor, right? That is, one of the worst things about being a content creator is that blinking cursor.
The cursor of death.
The cursor of death. Yes. Yes. So when folks are using ChatGPT, and as you mentioned, I have an account. As the recording of this podcast, I haven't used it yet, but I'm getting there. But you and I have used it together, and I've seen you use it. What for folks who are novices at ChatGPT, what would you say to maybe assist them in, writing the prompts, right? When you read about ChatGPT and you listen, it's all about the prompts because garbage in, garbage out. So
Correct.
What are some thoughts about making good prompts that maybe we could share with folks who are new or want to level up?
And I love garbage in, garbage out, because I think that sums it up just about perfectly, that the more general you are in your prompting of AI, the worse your answers are going to be. I generally call AI my stupid intern.
No offense to all interns out there.
Right. And I've only had good interns in real life, but my AI is my stupid one, because it doesn't understand really context. It kind of just takes everything you say at face value. So the more specific you can be with what you want, the better it can help you. So kind of a general template, if you will, if you're looking for help, is to start with what role you want the AI tool to take. So I want you to be a social media expert with years of experience. That's the first step. Then what do you want it to do specifically, and be like very specific? How long do you want it to be? How short do you want it to be? What are the exact outcomes that you want? Kind of a bonus tip here is if you have an example of something similar of what you're looking for, including that can really help the tool understand the parameters of what you want. And then my other kind of pro tip here is to add at the end, what else do you need to do this successfully? If you don't ask AI that question, sometimes it's what they call hallucinates, and it will make up things because it doesn't have the information that it needs. So I've had AI lie to me before, which it will do. So make sure you're always double checking everything. To be really clear that this is what I want, this is an example, what else do you need? And then AI can come back and say, oh, I really want to know these 3 things. You provide those answers and it gives you the result that you want.
Oh, that's such a great tip because that's not intuitive, right? That's
Right.
not intuitive for using that particular tool. So yeah, so thank you for that. And thank you very much for that template. And also for the note that we do need to cross-check everything that an AI tool provides for us. And then of course, that's never the final draft, right? It's a start. You always want to make sure that you are adding your own vibe and voice, and it's the beginning of your content. It's not the end of your content. Would you agree with that?
Yes, 100%. I think when they talk about ownership of AI, right now, as of the recording of this podcast, legally in the US, anything AI outputs is not owned by you, period. Doesn't matter how much you put into the prompt, how specific you were, how much you reworked the prompt with AI. If AI puts it out, you do not own that. So what you get from AI should really be a starting point that you then edit to make your own, add your own voice, make it better. And that's really the goal as of right now, as of the recording of this podcast.
Subject to change,
Yes.
because of course the world of AI is evolving literally as we speak.
Yes.
That's not an exaggeration.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Love it. All right. So ChatGPT, tool number 1.
Yes.
Tool number 2. What are we talking?
Okay, tool number 2 is one of my favorites that I just started using in the last year. I was a big supporter of a different tool that I won't even name because I don't want to hurt their feelings. But I have switched after over a decade, and I now use Metricool. That's Metricool, Metricool. And that tool is online. They have a desktop version. They have mobile apps. What it does is it helps you, I guess, curate all of your social media accounts into one location so that you can post and schedule. You can look at your insights. You can look at how your competitors are performing. You can do so many different things with this one tool, which is free. And I didn't even mention ChatGPT was free. I should have mentioned that.
Yes.
ChatGPT has a free version, by the way. And so does Metricool. If you have one brand or business or yourself that you're trying to promote, it's free. It only charges you if you want more than one brand, or if you're looking for some kind of higher up features. So definitely something you can get started with right now.
Oh, fantastic. And so let's talk analytics. So you mentioned you can figure out your analytics and your competitors. Can you give some examples of what the kind of the data that Metricool provides?
A lot. Yeah. I mean, more than I've ever seen from a analytics tool, to be honest with you, besides if you're going into Facebook to see how Facebook posts are performing. But if you're looking for a third-party tool that looks at everything. So when it comes to Instagram, for example, you can not only see how your posts are performing, you can see what their reach is, who's engaging, how many people are engaging. With your stories, you can see how many people saw them before they expired, which is pretty hard to find in Instagram analytics for a lot of people that don't know how to use it. Metricool makes that really easy to find. Let's see, TikTok. It's got TikTok, it's got YouTube, it's got Pinterest. It does like every single social network. But overall, yeah, just looking at the reach, the engagement. Yeah, I think that sums it up.
And you can get it for your competitors.
Yes.
So you can see, how you, compare and contrast. And, we want everybody to do them, right? You do you. It's not about, it's not all about the competition, but it is important though, to sort of know where you are in the marketplace from that perspective. So that feels very useful.
Yeah. The term that we call it in the industry, I don't know if everybody knows this term, is benchmarking, right? So you look at what the benchmark looks like, what other people's kind of standard looks like. And that just tells you how you compare in the industry or in your local area, and gives you an idea of like, oh, we're doing really well. So, okay, we should keep doing what we're doing. Or, oh, maybe there's some opportunities for growth because they're getting a lot more reach. What I love it for is seeing how often people are posting. It tells you right there, they're posting, in this month, they posted 9 posts. You posted, 6, and you got way better reach and engagement. It's like, well, maybe they're posting too much. So it's kind of interesting to get that data.
Yeah, and I love that, and I appreciate that you talked about what we do with the analytics, right? We look at the analytics
Mhm.
and we decide, okay, what do we want to do more of because it's working, and what do we maybe want to do less of because it's not, and maybe if it's not, maybe there's something we can do to make it better, like some little tweaks or adjustments. And
Yes.
data is useless. It's kind of a harsh word, I know, but data is useless if we don't use it to get better. Would you
Right.
agree?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best tips out there is if you really want to succeed on social media and grow, you have to look at what's performing well. Probably monthly basis is fine, but you have to look at what's performing well on a monthly basis and see, okay, this type of content performs really well for me. My audience really likes it. This one doesn't. I should probably stop making content like that and switch to this one that they like.
Oh, it's so good. So good. Because social media is, it's not the Wild West anymore. And we're, not throwing spaghetti against the wall per se to see
Mhm.
what sticks, but it is a lot of
Yes.
experimentation. And you have to know if your experiments are working.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so fun. All right. So we were going to talk about 3 tools today. So what is the third tool?
So we have AI with tools like ChatGPT. We have scheduling and analytics with tools like Metricool. And then we're going to switch it up a little bit. This one you really you can use anything. For about a decade, I used one thing and I've switched recently, but it's a way for you to track what you're doing or plan your content. So the way that I would say to do this for free is Google Sheets. So Google Sheets can be a great way for you to just list out the different types of content you have, make sure that you've got it organized into, the type of content that you're posting. If there's any links that you need when you're going to post it, they're there. If there's any images that you're going to need, it's there. The copy you're going to post with it, and then notes for if there's anything you need before you post. And this just helps you at a quick snapshot, look forward and say, okay, for this month, I need these 10 posts to go out. And here are the ones that are ready to go. Here are the ones that I still need to do a few things. And then when you're ready to post, if you haven't scheduled it out, or when you sit down to schedule out your content, you have all of it in one spot. So it saves you the time of having to come up with the captions on the spot or trying to think on your feet. You've got it all pre-done.
Yeah, which is great. And I think captions on the spot is something that I've noticed that I have struggled with. Early on in promoting the podcast, I was creating the assets, the little clips and the graphics, but I was leaving the captions until real time.
Mhm.
And that was a little bit stressful because there are days when we are very creative and there are days when it's just not happening and we can't spell to save our lives or type to save our lives. And it's just a struggle bus to do anything related to captions. So I really love the idea of doing that ahead of time. I've been trying to do that per your counsel, and it's really, really worked. And then, even if you draft it ahead of time, that doesn't mean that when you're ready to post, you can't make it a little bit better,
Mhm.
but you have something to go for. And you also have something that you really like. So you could just cut, paste, post should you want to.
Yes. And you can always change the caption later. If you change your mind, you read it through like, this was bad. What was I thinking? You can always change it, but at least gives you kind of that starting point. And, speaking from a productivity standpoint, we used to talk about a long time ago in the beginning days of social media. We used to give the recommendation that you should think of your social media like you would like a mailbox or like you're writing letters, where you're putting more thought into it than just thinking on your feet and texting, right? It's a little bit different than texting. It's more like writing a letter or putting something up on a website. It lives longer and more people are going to see it. And you wouldn't stop cooking to sit down and write a letter. And you know what I mean? Like you need to actually pause when you have the time and the brain power to think on it and write it then. And so that's why planning ahead and kind of writing captions ahead can be really helpful.
Oh yeah, I really like that analogy. That's really fun. Yeah, it does live. It lives for quite a while, and
Some people would
potentially
argue
forever.
forever.
Yeah, some people would argue forever. So we want to make sure the content is quality, and doing that ahead of time is a really good tip.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, Tori, thank you so much for our 3 social media tools to help us be more productive with our content creation and distribution and all the things regarding social media. So how can folks get a hold of you if they want to learn more?
If you
And I
want.
heard that you had a free guide that can help people. So tell us about that.
I do. So you can find me online. My name is spelled TORITERHUN as in Nancy, And so you can find me at toriterhune.com or at Tori Terhune on all the social pretty much. And yes, I do have a free guide to social media. If you're looking to start or restart your social media presence, I have 6 steps to get you there this week, asks you all the questions. There's worksheets involved, so you can answer all the questions for yourself and you personally for your business or your brand. And it will help you really boost your presence and use social media as a positive and powerful tool for you rather than letting it kind of run your life. So that's available on my website at toriterhune.com. I'm also on YouTube, Instagram, all the places.
All the things, all the things. Yeah. So folks, I really encourage you to get Tori's free guide. It let's say that sentence again. I encourage you to get Tori's free guide. It will really help you make your social media more handled-ish.
Thank you.
And that's what we want, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Well, this has been so fun. So thank you so much for joining us today. Please let us know what you think. Leave a comment on social or my website, betsyahayes.com. Hayes, remember, is Hays, no E. And to help keep the podcast going, please subscribe, share, rate, and review. Got a few more 5-star reviews, so I'm so excited. So thank you. Thank you, folks who did that. I wish I could get in there to understand who is doing the reviewing, but I will eventually be able to figure that out. Please tune in next week for the next episode of Handled-ish, Productivity for the Imperfect. It may, spoiler alert, also feature Tori because we have a lot more that we need to explore in this particular area. Until then, please take care and please be kind to yourself. You are doing way better than you think.